All right, guys, so sorry I haven't had a video a couple days. I did the Windows 11 upgrade, and it just messed everything up. So I haven't been able to get my audio going in my audio program and in my video program at the same time. And rather than take the time to figure all that out, I'm just going to... But here we are. Today we're going to go ahead and take a run at it and see how it goes. This is going to be a fun podcast. Lots of great video to check out. So let's go ahead and get this over here. I'm sorry, lots of great video. Lots of great pictures to check out. So for the Patriot Club, you guys are going to like this one. Going to be fun. Going to be fun. Let's go ahead and pop that over there. Let's make sure... not doing anything too crazy. Yeah. Oh yeah, that works great. Okay then. Alrighty then. Breathe, baby. Behind the chi. Got that set. Here we go. Recording. Good morning, Goldendale, and hello, humanity! Hello to all of my friends across the fruited plain, from sea to shining sea. We are here today again, gathered for another wonderful Wednesday, a podcast full of wit and wisdom, succinct synopsis of all the insanity for your listening pleasure and reading pleasure for those who prefer to take it in visually. This particular article is going to be a delight. Today we are going to be comparing and contrasting what's going on in the headlines. Now, as you well know, whenever we're faced with a decision that offers multiple options and various ways to move forward, it is always wise to take the time to weigh out the pros and cons of different potentialities. Now, I just like that word, by the way, the potentialities. So other times, when we're trying to figure out what to do, we just need to flip a coin. You know what I mean? Like, don't overthink it, just flip a coin. So with that said, when it comes to evaluating different perspectives and different news sources, when we're kind of sifting through the headlines, looking at the propaganda, peeling back the layers, the preferred approach is really to compare and contrast the different stories and seeking out those discrepancies and those diametrically opposed opinions that might offer insight on the truth that is lurking somewhere in between. I often say that if we're looking at things just from the left and the right side, then we're missing the other 358 degrees of perspective, right? So we want to try to stretch our head, wrap it around what's really going on there. So on that note, let's take a look at some cover stories today, moving from the left to the right side, starting out via the front page of CNN.com. Check out this image here. For those in the Patriot Club watching on the video, or if you're reading in the article here, check out that image. CNN says takeaways from the aide's blockbuster testimony. Former White House aide recounted a conversation she heard after Trump's team confronted him about protesters' chance to hang Pence. This is a bombshell. Trump aides left speechless by Hutchinson. Analysis, a warning about the rage and tyranny that may await if Trump gets back into the White House. Oh man, you can just feel it. Oh, it's alive. It's sensational. So my observations. What I've done in the article here is I do the screenshot of the headline of the article, and then I make my observations. I'm just going to read through these observations. First and foremost, if you look at the expression on the lady's face, she's trying to conceal her amusement, while pretending that this is very serious testimony. In other words, she's lying and she knows it and she realizes that it's all part of the show. It's just like acting. Just look at her face and you can see it. Oh, this is very serious. But you can see the scarcely concealed amusement. And then look at the words blockbuster and bombshell. These are just rehashed trigger words, right? And they've definitely lost some potency in the age of the daily unprecedented events that seem to unfold in a predictable fashion. Anyway, but they're still very effective psychological hooks. Words like blockbuster and bombshell. These are hooks that say, pay attention, this is really important. And oh my gosh, it's a bombshell. What's going on? And then how about the bold word from CNN? And it's a bold word indeed from CNN. It says the bold word analysis, warning. the rage and tyranny that may await if Trump gets back in the office. Now, the word analysis implies that logic is being applied, but the, quote, warning about the rage and tyranny that may await if Trump gets back into the White House, end quote, is directly, it's directed squarely at the emotional mind. So this analysis, I'm getting some analysis, I'm getting some logical, thinking here. No, you're not. You're getting more emotional propaganda, period. So also on the CNN one, just want to note the upward stairs toward a larger-than-life screen. If you look and you think about these people that are sitting there looking, you've seen probably some of the other screenshots where they got Donald Trump up there on this massive screen. He looks bigger than life. He looks like Hitler up there, right? But look at the lady to the right of Hutchinson. And doesn't she look like she's just being brainwashed? I mean, she's just like, oh, wow, amazing. The orange man is bad. This is terrible. Okay. All right, anyway, think about the trauma that this testimony must create for all of those who have endured the trial. It's a good thing that the Senate Sergeant of Arms, it's unfortunate that he passed right before this blockbuster bombshell testimony, but because he was there and he probably could have confirmed that this was in fact the truth. But that what's happening in the J6 show trial is actually true, even though, the skeptical minds would think it's probably just a bunch of BS. Anyway, next up, moving along. From the front page of thehill.com. I mean, they are just all in on this lady. They got the close-up side shot. Cassidy Hutchinson drops the hammer on Donald Trump. And then they've got she's like 3 different pictures of her. She got their hand up. She's getting the full on. I'm gonna just speak the plain truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God, and it's going to be a devastating day for Donald Trump. And then they provide the no business, no nonsense 6 takeaways from Cassidy Hutchinson's explosive testimony. So my observations on this propaganda is such that 3 different pictures of an attractive woman on the front page screams, "Look at me! Look here!" And keep your eyes fixed on the subject at hand. Again, if you look at her expression, you analyze her expression belies her ostensible intention. She's not there to tell the truth, and you could tell just by looking at her damn face. Now, also, the black and white professional garb portrays her as a no-nonsense businesswoman who should be taken seriously and taken at her word, not a deceitful, deceiving, deceptive Democrat operative. That's the nicest thing I could come up with in that second there. But, with her hand raised in oath, it wants to imply that she's honest and she's convicted about her testimony. But the third picture says, let's get this done. She's business, It's really true. If you just look at all of these pictures, it's truly a picture taken together. It's a picture of history in the making, or perhaps history in the remaking, as the case may be. Because imagine that these were the only pictures that anybody ever saw, because the artificial intelligence and the algorithms were taking down anything that showed anything otherwise. Also from the Hill here, I want to point out the words like drop the hammer, we're going to bludgeon with the hammer, the ball-peen hammer, the sledgehammer to the head of the orange man, those kind of words, the words explosive, these are violent cues that quench the primitive thirst to bloody the orange man, bad arch villain of the story. And that's the devastating day for Donald Trump. So clicking through those stories, they say that this is the 6th J6 hearing, and that this 6th J6th hearing has finally fulfilled the media's billing as must-see TV. That sounded like a cable series episode of When Presidents Attack. So the Hill is saying, oh man, the J6 hearing has really come through, man. This is must-see TV. And it sounded just like a cable series. That's great. It sounds so much like a fair trial and justice and, truth and, no. It sounds like fiction because it is fiction. It's must-see TV because it's made for TV. It's entertainment. That's all that it is, except the fact that if you add in, that they're rewriting history and someday this may be the only version of history that people are allowed to see, then it gets a little bit more serious than just a cable series episode titled When the President Attacks. All right? So, well, friends, that was fun now, wasn't it? It's always entertaining to look at what passes for news on the left. Keep in mind, there are millions of Americans who don't see anything other than what we just looked at. These are the low information voters, the unintelligent intellectuals who are stuck in the liberal echo chamber. They don't ever get out of it. And if they encounter any contrasting perspective, they're so suspicious. Immediately they run over to the fact checkers, and they fact check it into irrelevance in order to maintain their fragile illusions. But friends, to honor your intelligence here in this listening audience and to form a more balanced perspective, wisdom says we should look and listen to what the other side has to say, right? So, via the Summit News, we see this screenshot here. It says, the claim that Trump lunged for the steering wheel on January 6th, discredited by Secret Service. The committee's credibility suffers another massive blow. Okay, this is great. Observation here. First the image and the expressions. It's a different picture, different angle. But if you look at this, she's so clearly, oh my gosh, it was tragedy. It was traumatizing. She's clearly feigning sincerity. And the guy to her left is thinking, you got to be kidding me. What? You got to be kidding me, Oh, man. I'm kind of having fun making these expressions into the camera. Guys, if you're not in the Patriot Club, you realize that for $7 a month, you could support my effort in this publication. You could donate more if you wanted to. You could gift a subscription. But you do get the behind-the-scenes commentary and my funny facial expressions, because I am kind of a funny-looking guy. At least I think I'm funny sometimes. My kid tells me I'm funny sometimes, but more often than not, I just think that I'm funny. Never mind that. This guy in the picture, he's you gotta be kidding me. You actually expect people to believe you, And the lady on the right is kind of this silently scoffing, like, you gotta be kidding me, But she has just this hint of jealousy, envy almost, like, wow, she's good. Like, no way she's going to try to pull this off, but all right, she's good. Anyway, that's my take. So notice also how the author emphasizes the words bullshit and lunged, not just to indicate that these are quotes, but also to highlight how ridiculous the story is. Think about it. President Trump, he's in the backseat of the limo, backseat of the beast. He's going to push away the security detail, Secret Service detail. He's going to lunge for the steering wheel. I'm going to yank it. I'm going to steer the beast into the heart of the riot. Come on. Even the lead Secret Service agent is calling BS on this unbelievable testimony. So that's just, truth is stranger than fiction. It's entertaining, guys. It's entertaining, but still, it's serious because we're talking about our national elections. We're talking about the sock puppet that's sitting in the Oval Office. We're talking about MAGA being the greatest domestic terrorist organization in American history. We're talking about all the white supremacists and the racial, the racists. We're talking about all of the people that the left likes to label and bludgeon, and now they're really trying to whip up this story that something happened that didn't happen. The violent insurrection of all these racists and extremists, okay? Anyway, also the subtle reminder in this article that this is not the first time. This is not the first time that the J6 committee has been caught lying and altering evidence. Though they admittedly regret the error of lying and altering evidence, they've been caught red-handed lying and altering the evidence all along. And this whole story about the BS, the Secret Service coming out and saying it's BS, that did not happen. No effing way that happened. If you were to click on the article and read about the Secret Service's testimony, they say no effing way. That did not happen. This is complete and pure, unadulterated bullshit. Sorry, excuse me, I keep sneezing. I do try to keep this for a PG audience. Now, friends, now let's move on to the next one here from the right, just to keep it fair, try to balance it out just a little bit. So via realclearpolitics.com, another J6 Trump bombshell, outed as a hoax. Another J6 Trump bombshell outed as a hoax. Go figure, all right? On Tuesday, the liberal media soiled themselves over the so-called bombshell story that on January 6, 2021, President Trump grabbed the steering wheel of the presidential limo and then lunged at a Secret Service agent because he wanted to join the protesters at the Capitol. You just hear the story, read the story, and it just, it's laughable to begin with. But the observation here, if you look at the picture, Liz Cheney's expression is, oh, shit, this might not fly. Honey, come on, can't you do better than that? The guy to our right is thinking, we might be getting in trouble for this. Like, oh, this is bad. This is painfully obvious here. And then if you look really close at the guy over on the left, he's got this kind of perplexed sort of amusement on his face, trying not to smile. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. But wow, I can't believe she actually thinks anybody's going to believe this crap. That's what his expression tells me. Anyway, but by not showing a picture of Hutchinson or even using her name, I think that the Real Clear Politics article diffuses the impact of her visual appeal and then also reduces the attention given to this attention-seeking circus. So, mocking the so-called bombshell by pointing out all the sensationalized and irrational responses in the liberal media who soiled themselves. I just like that. It's kind of gritty. It's witty. It's good old-fashioned wit, friends. And also they acknowledge that this is yet another hoax that has quickly been debunked. Okay, so just look at it for what it is. You can compare and contrast left and right. What do you think actually happened on that fateful day? And what do you think about the J6 hearings? Okay, but let's get back to reality. Because I could spend all damn day comparing and contrasting. It's a lot of fun, and it's an entertaining mental exercise. But while my observations may have been obvious to many of you, or maybe not, this is a demonstration of the critical thinking that is utterly lacking on the left. You must realize that far too few people actually go through this kind of comparing and contrasting. And, thus, the useful idiots are being prodded by the progressive agenda, and they do not realize that they are being deceived. And this fact matters, and in fact, this is vitally important to realize that this fact matters because they still get to vote. Okay? They get to go out and vote and make Biden the most popular president that was ever reelected. Or better yet, they'll vote for Hillary Clinton and Howard Stern because they will save the day and put some steel into the spine of the Democrats, Anyway, remember, we are rushing headlong toward mob rule. I've written about it, talked about it. You guys know that. And even though the Disinformation Governance Board has been temporarily suspended, the government is still using artificial intelligence to control the narrative with algorithms. And let's not forget that's happening at the global level. Do not forget, my friends, that we are in the midst of the Great Reset. And all of this is just American political theater. There are more important things happening in the world. And this is just a distraction, as I'm sure you know. But zooming out to the big picture, we still have to compare and contrast to form a balanced perspective. So, when we read articles that indicate it's probable that the world system will shatter, we got to balance that out with more pragmatic perspectives, like it's not the end of the world. Both of those articles are linked in there, by the way. At the end of the day, the sun will set, and tomorrow it will rise once more. Seasons will come and seasons will go. And the world will keep on spinning in the same old direction, even when it feels like it's spinning out of control. And I find that a very refreshing perspective, especially when the commies are taking over the world! Oh, friends, what's not being talked about in the news today? How about the fact the UN is holding a summit that aims to transform global education? Ooh, that sounds interesting. What about the WHO holding high-level meetings on global road safety? I wonder what they're up to. And the G7 pondering how it can maintain power with less than 10% of the global population. You know, because I put those links in there because it's events like these that are actually steering our government. It's events like these that are actively shaping our future. So everything else is, you know, it's just, again, it's distraction. When we compare local politics with a globalist agenda and find that they actually align, we can know for certain that didn't happen by accident. And it reminds us that there's always a bigger plan at play here, and everything else is just smoke and mirrors. So friends, keep your eyes on the ball. And that is the message of my heart for today. Friends, if you're enjoying this podcast, please do me the great honor, click that little heart and give me some love. As I've said, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's worth it because it just makes me smile. And then also, if you have not subscribed already, please do subscribe. And if you have not shared this with somebody, please share this podcast with a friend. Why? Because sharing is caring, but also because, guess what? The algorithms are not promoting this content. Though, you certainly can do your part by sharing it far and wide. And with that, friends, I'd say, hey, it's another wonderful Witty Wednesday. Get out there and embrace this day, and I'll look forward to talking to you again soon. And I'm gonna stop the video. Thanks, Patriot Club, for being awesome, and I'll get this posted up there. PDQ. Peace out.